Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Marly Bird, and I'm joined here by my friend Robyn Chichula, and we want to tell you all about Camp Colorwork. So, right now, all the details you need are in the video description wherever you are viewing this from, but join us as we take you along this little journey that we have created here. So, hi, guys. Hello.
Hello,
We are
hello.
we are here. This is our essentially like our big, just one big snapshot of an offer of what we're doing. If you've been around at all, you know that Robyn and I have been building up workshops and pattern collections and courses all in the Marly Bird house. And this is our newest one. This is our biggest one. This one, it's unbelievable. And we want to tell you all about it. So, do you want to start it off?
Yeah, so we originally made this class as part of another program. It was part of the Craft Summer Reading box.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we went a little crazy. So originally it was just supposed to be 6 patterns to go with some yarn and some beautiful notions and bags. But we just kept going because they gave us beautiful colors. And so we said, oh, well, we could do this with this technique and we could do that and we could do this. And so what happened is from that little nugget, we created this gigantic colorwork course.
Yes.
And now that that whole event is over, we decided, you know what? This is something we need to share.
Yeah.
Because I loved it. Marly loved it. And we think you're going to love it.
Yeah. Everybody who's been a part of it so far, we've had nothing but rave reviews. So let me give you a glimpse inside of Camp Colorwork. So this right here, everybody, this is what your view is if you purchase Camp Colorwork and you join the Marly Bird house, and all things are wonderful. It's just great. So you go inside, and this here is inside Camp Colorwork. And you can see right over here, there are 15 modules. Think of those as your file folders. All right. So Camp Colorwork is like your filing cabinet. Your modules are your file folders, and inside those modules are lessons, and those are your files. So that's how this is broken down. But what we've done inside Camp Colorwork here, you will find all of these file folders or modules that are full of a ton of lessons, a lot of information, as well as pattern links, additional patterns, brand new patterns. I mean, sky is the limit. And if you haven't noticed yet, this is for knitters and crocheters. So whether you're a knitter or a crocheter, you are going to get a ton of information out of this course. And if you're by crafty, boo, you just hit the jackpot. Like this is unreal. So as you are looking through here, obviously I'm just kind of scrolling along so you can get a quick glimpse, but you will notice that as you look at all of the modules on the side, we start you off with how to read charts. And it's not just like stitch diagram charts. We go into detail with how you can read different charts and how they apply to different techniques. So let's go into the crochet charts one here. And I'm going to have Robyn talk us through what to expect.
Yeah, so basically the whole course is broken into 3 sections. Colorwork charts is our first. And you think they're kind of boring. Like if you look on the screen, you just see a chart and you think, okay, I do a single crochet or whatever stitch I want to do for each one of those blocks. Fine, great. Yes, you can. But this is where the great thing is. There's so much more you can do with it. So you could use that chart and just do 1 for 1 stitch. Or we learned the waistcoat stitch, and that is where you split your single crochet and you make a beautiful, kind of almost like a stockinette stitch. You can use the exact same chart and do corner to corner. Or for our Tunisian friends, you use the exact same chart again and you do it in Tunisian. The cool part about this is for every single one of these sections, you're going to have a worksheet. And in that worksheet has even more charts. And the way I've done it is that for this part of it, it's a hat. is the project that would go along with this. But besides like tips and tricks that you can see in the worksheet that I have for you, kind of notes already written down for you, when you get to the end, you're going to find a whole bunch more charts. So if you didn't like the chart that is on the hat in the pattern, you can use that. And they're actually in the pattern. I've made sure that they were in the pattern one. For all of these, I did a snowflake. Right. So what's nice is I use the exact same snowflake for all of this section.
Right.
So you can see how it looks different and how big it gets and everything else.
And you'll notice in here, there are bonus videos, and those are videos that are from the Marly Bird YouTube channel that you already know and love, but maybe you're like, oh, it's nice to have those all in one place to kind of get maybe a little bit of a different aspect or get a different look or whatever it may be.
Exactly. So you can see, because Marly and I, we approach things differently. And so we both wanted you to have both sides of learning different things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. So that was the colorwork charts for crocheters. But when it comes to knitters, you'll notice that I made 2 modules when it came to colorwork charts. I have one module, which really is just a basic, hey, here's how you read a colorwork chart. Here are the colorwork chart basics. And then I have a little bit of a beyond the basics where there's a whole bunch of different versions of colorwork charts that you can kind of look into that you might not have ever really thought about. And then you're like, wow, look at that. Look how different things can look, all on how a color is used or a symbol is used or whatever it may be. But beyond that, for knitters, for knitters especially, stranded knitting is really a big factor when it comes into colorwork. That's a big part, a big aspect. And so where the crocheters, they have all these different techniques to use the one chart. Yeah, there's some things we could do that for knitters, but I felt it was more important to talk about stranded knitting. So I pulled the stranded knitting instructions out of that module and gave them their own module. So when I click into this, you now get to see lessons on two-handed stranded knitting. And so there's two-handed stranded knitting, how to fix mistakes in stranded knitting, how to weave in or tuck your floats as you are working along, how to work
important.
Yeah, how to work your duplicate stitch. And then I did an entire show and tell, because one of the things that both Robyn and I realized as we were going through all of these courses and making them up is that we really like color work. Like, I knew I liked color work, but as I'm pulling stuff out that I've made before, I'm like, geez, I have a lot to show. And so I did a show and tell for the stranded color work. But what I wanted to point out with that is that still just, those are 2 sections. I just happened to pull that out because it was just a little bit more in depth because it's a little different. But the amount of detail just with that, just with that could be its own course, guys. Yeah. That could be its own little sectioned out, and not even a mini course. Like, that could be a course. But no, we did not stop there, because along with those instructions, we gave you the 2 patterns that go with the colorwork charts for knitting, colorwork charts for crochet. And so I'm going to jump back over there so we can take a peek at that. And you'll notice I'm coming up here and I'm following through the breadcrumbs up here to get back to where I want to go as far as getting back. I guess I have to come back over here. 2 screens. One, I'm putting on it on one screen. It's really the other one. As I come over here and I go to my breadcrumbs, I can come down here, but you'll notice that the patterns themselves are their own module. And notice that they are listed as crochet class project, knitting class project. So everything you need to know for that pattern, if there's additional videos, if there's additional content, is all inside that module. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to click on the Summerset Garden Hat, which is Robyn's. I'm going to let her talk through that one.
Yeah, so this hat is using the waistcoat stitch, or you can call it the split single crochet. And it's just a great warm hat. But what's nice about the pattern is I made sure that you have 4 different charts to choose from. If you don't like that little flower, you can choose something else to put in it and it will work exactly the same. What's nice about all the projects that we did is they're little projects. They're not gigantic. And with this course, you don't have to do our projects to make sure you finish the course. You can pick and choose whatever you like and whatever speaks to you. But we tried however we could to give you tons of different options. So everyone could come up with something slightly different, and it's still within our coursework.
Right. One of the great things about the heartstrings pattern, which is a pair of socks, they are stranded knit socks. But if you go into this again could be its own course, because it is everything you need to know how to make forethought socks. But then I've incorporated the strand knitting aspect of it as well. So you'll notice that there are video instructions for each part of the sock that you need, including burying in your ends. And at the very end here, you'll see that's where you can get your pattern PDF. So if you don't need all of those videos, you don't have to watch them. Maybe you've made socks before. You're like, hey, great. I'm glad that the videos are there and available for me if I have a question, but I really want the pattern. All you need to do is come down here, just click where it says pattern PDF. And right over here, you click on that and you can download your pattern PDF. Don't click print. Not sure why that's there. Can't figure out how to get rid of it. Click on the heartstrings knit socks. Actually click on it and it will take you to where you can download the heartstrings pattern. And you'll notice the patterns, they're beautiful. All the instructions you need are right there. And they're amazing, if I say so myself. So that's one thing about the patterns is it's not just, hey, we're just going to give you this pattern. We're giving you all the instructions you need to complete that pattern. Regarding the colorwork section, say that there is a technique we're teaching and we know that maybe we have a pattern out there that has used this technique. We will either give you a link to that pattern so that you can go check it out, or we have given you some additional patterns along the way in here as well as bonus patterns that you could check out. Right. So once you get past the colorwork chart section, our next section is
Magical Mosaic. Because who doesn't love mosaic? I don't care if you're doing crochet or if you're doing knitting. It's magical. I don't know how. It's like, how did that come about?
Yes. I love it. So let's open up the crochet magicals because everything here is listed. If it's for crocheters, it says crochet. So you won't have any doubt if you are one or the other, or like I said, if you're by crafty, you've hit the jackpot. Right. But right here with Crochet Magical Mosaic, there are so many different ways
of doing it. Yeah. Because like everybody always thinks of one way, but there is multiple ways of doing it. These are just a couple of the ones that we decided to film. There's even more than this. Yes. And so what we try to do is do a lot of the ones that you've seen before, like using spike stitches or using going in your front loop. So you drop your front loop. The one that I know, which I call the classic, is where every row essentially is single crochets and you're dropping down with a double crochet to bring that color up. That's what I kind of call the classic one. And then the one that I'm most excited about for the Tunisian friends out there is how to do mosaic in Tunisian, because that's not shown very often and it's really, really intuitive and it can make projects a lot of fun. Right. Just a lot of fun.
And one thing that we do talk about are how to use knitting or crochet charts for one or the other. Like you can combine knit charts or graphs or whatever you want to call them for crochet mosaic. And so we talk about that also. Like it's just really fun. And like here's an example of there's an additional bonus pattern right there that you can get. And there's an additional bonus pattern here that you can get. So there's additional patterns that uses the mosaic stitch that is very handy. I don't know if you guys can see this right here. Because I'm going to use it. That's why I want to explain it. This is a drop down menu. And when I click it, I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can, but on my end, it shows up and it shows all of the file folders. So I can go ahead and click to the next one, which is Magical Mosaic Knitting. And it's just going to jump me there. So I don't have to go back to the main page, but it's very, very handy. So when you get the chance to look at it, use that. It's very handy.
because there's so much in here.
There's so much. And so the drop down menu shows you all of the main file folders that you then can go to. But when it comes to knitting mosaic, obviously we're going to talk about mosaic charts because they're unique. They are different. And they can be presented in a lot of different ways. We're going to talk about shadow knitting or mosaic shadow knitting. We're going to talk about mosaic and stockinette stitch. We're going to talk about slip stitch ribbing because mosaic is a form of slip stitching. So we're going to talk about some slip stitch ribbing, which is just really gorgeous and a great addition to use for a lot of different pieces. We're going to talk about woven stitch waves. This is actually one of my favorite hats I've ever made. And then of course, I have a bonus video in here showing you how to make these really great stitch markers that are super easy to use, but they're very, very handy with all of the color work we are going to use because they're great to separate out your sections of repeats. And so that video is available there as well. And then, of course, I'm going to click my drop down menu. You can't see here, but it takes us then to the class projects. So the Nebula Crochet project. This is a very beautiful cowl.
Yep. So this cowl is kind of the next level of mosaic because there's holes in it. And usually there's no holes in mosaic. But you'll see in the video and in the pattern that it's pretty intuitive how to do it. It just, as soon as you figure out how to do the classic mosaic in crochet, then you see this and you go, oh, okay. No, a couple extra chains, no problem.
Did I tell you that I went and spoke at the Indianapolis Knitting Guild? And when I showed them this project, this was the favorite project of a lot of knitters. They loved this cowl. And it was funny because you could kind of feel like they were like, I can't believe I'm like loving crochet. Like they were just like, that is my favorite project. I was like, that is so awesome. Yeah, it's really fantastic. And then of course, for me, because I always have to be that little bit extra, for mine, we did the Echo gloves. So yes, you're going to learn to make gloves, actual gloves. And what these represent to me, they're like sound waves. So when both of the gloves are side by side, they look like they're echoes of each other in sound waves. But you learn everything you need to know for Echo gloves. It comes in, let me move my ring a little bit. You learn the mosaic stitches that are there on the front, some slip stitches that are going on in the back. You learn how to make fingers, how to change colors, how to do a corrugated rib. Like there's a ton of information. Again, just this pattern could be its own individual course. So,
right.
I mean,
and don't be scared. Marly has taken you step by step by step.
Yeah.
They are incredibly impressive gloves.
Yes.
But they're nothing to be scared of. This is something you can accomplish. Absolutely.
They are so fun to make. They are so fun to make. And it uses sport weight yarn. It's fantastic. It's just lovely. And like I said, I mean, you look here, I give you all of the detailed videos that you need to complete these gloves. Like they're just great. And then you'll notice even down here, I give you the pattern and you can get individual charts for each one of the pieces outside of the pattern. So if you wanted to put those on your iPad or if just print them out or whatever it may be, it's all available to you. So you can click
and huge and big and as big as you need it to be.
So like if I were to click, that's an entire chart for just one of the gloves.
Yeah.
So much fun. All right. So once we get past mosaic, which you're already like, what more could there be? Like, what else is there in color work? Oh,
that was just 2 of our sections.
That was just 2. All right. So then we go to fun and funky because we didn't know what else to name it. So it's fun and funky crochet color work.
So guys, fun and funky
crocheters. First off, crocheters, listen up. This is amazing. Like she has put together, like there are stitches. I'm like, how did you do that? Like it's so cool. All right, now I'll let you talk.
This is definitely the place where like you don't know where to classify these guys. And so I shoved them in here. Like, I don't know how to classify them, but they're fun things to do. So I go through what I call interlaced, where you're weaving in your chains before you do your row. They're all little short rows. It's just frankly a fun technique to do. You'll see. I don't want to spill it. It looks complicated, but it's ridiculously easy. So if you're a beginner, this is something for you. All right, interwoven. I could not include interwoven. This is where you have the fabric on the front and the back. They're not always the same fabric. This stitch pattern is. Sometimes they're different, but you're literally building two fabrics at once and they're woven together. I couldn't not include it. And the whole concept with our camp is that you get these bite-sized things. You do not have to do it all. But if you're looking at a pattern and it says, for instance, it's interwoven, you can come here and watch the tutorial of how to do it. And then you have an idea with the pattern of like, okay, I know I watched it. I know that I need quiet space to do this. Or, oh, I saw how that was done. I could do that watching Netflix. Like you will have those ideas all ready in your brain. Okay. Next up is segmented.
This is so
don't
cool.
See these very often. Basically,
this is so I have never seen this before. And the whole time I was editing your video, I was like, well, this is amazing. This is amazing.
It's like making little short rows. They've been done before that you make essentially little short rows to make twists or cables or things like that. They've been around since like the turn of the century, the 1900s. These have been published, but we don't publish them that often. So it's something that I like to show people because it makes an impressive cable. And once you get it, you're like, oh, that's not that hard, which I kind of find cool.
It's pretty cool. All right. I love this one too.
All right. Overlay is just wacky and cool. It's basically what you're doing is you're making a fabric on the front and the back, and you're overlaying two motifs at a time. But the way I do it, the way they usually do it is really complicated of trying to get your hook in everywhere, but I don't have time for that. So I show you how to like an easier version of how to do these overlays. And you could do any color or anything to kind of get the crazy look.
Yes. All right. I love that we're just including Tunisian, guys, because Tunisian is another sense of crochet. We love it, and we want you to be introduced to it.
Yeah. So then double-ended hook, because there's a million things I could have done in Tunisian, but I decided to do double-ended hook because it's the most useful thing if you're ever going in the round in Tunisian. And I show you not only how to use your double-ended hook to get, a basic stitch pattern like this in the round, but how you can do it flat as well, because they don't translate. It's not a 1-for-1. When you're doing double-ended hook, it's a different way of kind of using it and looking at it, but not hard. And that's what I like.
Awesome.
Not hard.
And then all of these are available in a worksheet that is just great. So I'm going to click on this. You guys can get an idea. She's put together these great worksheets. They look far better than mine do. Yours are prettier than mine. Mine are just instructions. Hers are very pretty. But I mean, these are stitches you literally are not going to find anywhere else. Taught by an expert who has actually written a book on crochet stitches.
Yeah. And so as you can see, like an interlaced and a few of them, I gave you more than what I just did in the video.
Yeah.
I talk about them in the video, just so if you liked it, you have another one that you can do.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. And I just read a comment somebody mentioned, and then there's obviously some bonus patterns in here too, if you wanted to check them out. Yeah. I just read a comment. Somebody said that the interwoven looks like mosaic, and it does look like mosaic, but they are completely different. Yeah. They are completely different techniques. Yeah. As I come back here, I came back to the main page. So again, this is our file cabinet, and I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see we've passed the Nebula, past the Echo, fun and funky crochet. Here's fun and funky knits. So if I click on there and I come in here, you can see that we've learned the butterfly stitch. And this is used in my Afternoon Delight Quickie set. I love this set. This was actually another favorite of the Knitting Guild when I was there. We learned tuck stitches and the blister check stitch, which is a lot of fun to do. We're going to use this in other projects real soon too. But then I also gave you links to some free patterns where you can find this tuck stitch technique used as well. We have Intarsia done flat. So we talk a lot about Intarsia. And when we are in here talking about this, I could have included Intarsia in the round, chose not to. Could have included double knitting, chose not to. So when I tell you there's more we could add, there's a lot more we could add.
Yeah, we had to stop.
We had to stop. Dual cables, using two colors at the same time you're doing color work or doing cables. There's a lot of fun things you can do there. Two color brioche knitting. So we talk about two color brioche knitting. And then obviously there's my handout. My handout is nothing. It's just words. And then this is a bonus pattern that you get. And it is the Highland Argyle cardigan designed by my friend Anne Burke, who is Intarsia. And just a lot of wonderful information there. It's exciting to be able to introduce a lot of these different color work techniques to people who might not know that all of this is available. And we give you as many tips and tricks and whatnot along the way as we do it, you know, and both Robyn and I have taught around the country. We have taught on the Knit and Crochet Now television show. I've taught at Craftsy. I've taught at Creative Bug. I've taught at Stitches. I've taught at Interweave. I mean, you've taught at Interweave. You've taught at Stitches. Like, we've taught around the country, right? I can tell you precisely each one of these lessons, just the lessons, okay? Not for the patterns. I'm going to set the patterns aside. Just the lessons could be individual courses at a Stitches event, at a Vogue event, at an Interweave event, at a Craftsy class.
Not the sections. Like, I've taught just the one class.
Just the lessons. You have the module, and then you have the lessons in the module, just the lesson. So if you think about it and add those up, those usually run about $90 to $120 each. So as you go back and we look here, let me come back here and we go to the main page here. As you look at these lessons and you start adding them up, there are 10 lessons in here. Now, granted, some of those, like 3 of them, one is the workshop or one is the workbook and one is, you know, something else. But you look at these lessons and start adding up, just the value of what you have right here all in one thing is unbelievable. Then you add in the extra content that we've added. You add in the patterns that are the extra bonus patterns. Then you add in the patterns themselves that were designed specifically for this course.
Right.
That could be their own courses. The value of this workshop is unbelievable. And for a limited time, literally until August 26th at midnight, we have it at a low price that you can check out by clicking the link below. I'm actually going to put the link up here as well. It's a super low price. We're just like, we want to make sure everybody can get this, can check this out. So I'm going to put that up there. If you go to that, you can see that's the sales page. And essentially, we made it really brief. We could make a really long one. We might make a longer one. But we figured, hey, you're here watching this. We're giving you all the information you need right here. Like, this is essentially like a webinar. We're like, hey, let me show you what you get because this is amazing.
So just in case you're just joining us,
yes,
what happens in this course is there's 63 brand new videos.
Yes,
that's broken up into 3 sections for crochet, 3 sections for knitting. Then within each of those sections, you got 6 sections. You have a pattern for each. So that's 6 brand new patterns.
Brand new patterns.
Brand new.
Yep.
But included are bonus patterns. So there's patterns that are currently free, and there's patterns that we gave you for free that no one else can get for free. Right. Everyone else has to pay for them. Right. But we gave them to you in the course for free. There's an additional 8 of those.
Yeah. We also linked, if we mentioned any books or if there are other designers that we really like that are maybe like experts in that particular field, we link to them. We link to their books. Like, this is a master class that you get to take on your own time. So not only are you getting it at an incredible value, you are learning everything you need to learn from 2 experts. and you get to do it on your own time. You don't have to travel across the country to attend an event somewhere else that you only get to sit in a class for 3 hours and that's it.
And what I really like about it is like, you don't even have to do it all right now.
Nope.
Like like I was saying earlier, is you could find a beautiful pattern and then come into our tutorials, use us like a living, breathing encyclopedia. How do I do this? And then go do that pattern that you found.
Right.
Because this course never ends.
Yeah.
You have access to it.
You have unlimited access to this. So even if you're like, you're going to use it even as like a book for yourself of, I'm just going to go back and just make sure, maybe you come across a pattern years from now, you're just like, oh, I don't remember how to do that. You could use this as your teaching tool. And so there's a lot of benefits to this. This is a continuous course we're going to have in the Marly Bird House. There are almost 500 people already enrolled in the course. People are making items. They love the course. They love the information. They didn't know what to expect. Like they were like blown away by how much was involved. Like, it's just great. I see you putting up your finger.
And don't forget, the other awesome part about all of this is that we have a Facebook group dedicated just for this course.
Yep.
So you'll see, like, if you end up buying this course and joining us, there is a Facebook group just for us, Camp Colorwork. We call it the Campfire Chat, where you get to talk to people and we get to talk to you. So if there's questions or you just like, I fell in love with this, that's the place to do it. So you get to interact with people. And because we already have people in the group have been working on this stuff, there's people there who can help you and join you and just get excited about it.
It's really awesome. So I see a couple people say, how do I sign up? The link is in the video description box below, or the link that's scrolling across the page right now. If you type that in, you can find it. I'm actually going to make it active as a live course inside the Marly Birdhouse too. So you can click through that. If you're at the Marly Birdhouse, I'm like, I can't find it. We'll do that also. It's fantastic. I think people want to see all the patterns like a little bit closer. You want to show the patterns?
Yeah, I will show the patterns. Marly has them all. Show them off.
All right. So we'll start off. We'll go in the same order that we made the course. Speaking of, you don't have to watch the course in this order, but it is the way that we designed it, just taking it from one step to the next. And beginners and advanced beginners and experts, all of you will get information from this course that is valuable. All right, so we have the Somerset Garden Hat. This hat uses the waistcoat stitch and that lovely, like a lovely chart that you can make this very beautiful hat. This is, all of our projects are made with sport weight yarn. This is a hand-dyed yarn by Destination Yarn. It's 3 different colors. You do not have to add the pom-pom. You do not have to.
It's worked from the bottom up.
Pretty. Yep.
The bottom up hat.
You can use any colors you want. They do not have to be pink and green. You could do anything you want, but this is the crochet hat pattern. It's absolutely lovely. I love it. And along that same theme, so when you're introduced to stranded knitting, that's when I brought in the heartstrings socks. So I read a question. Somebody said, what does stranded knitting mean? How many of you have had a sweater that maybe you had when you were a little kid, and every time you put your hands in it, your fingers got caught in those floats that were on the back of the sweater because it had this really pretty, maybe like a rainbow or a unicorn on the front of the sweater? Only me. And so that is stranded knitting, stranded color work. I mean, unless it was Intarsia, but essentially you have these floats. This is the inside of my sock. Everybody love my float porn because this is beautiful stuff here. But the color, when you're not using one color, you have it float behind the other colors and you get these beautiful floats. This is stranded knitting. So I've used 2 colors at the same time. I have 1 color in each hand. And as I'm knitting along, following the chart, it's essentially like a paint by number, but it's a knit by color. And so when the square in the chart was one color, I would knit with that color. And if it was the other color, I would knit with that one. And I would strand the yarn behind the stitches that were already made until it was time to use that color again. Yep. So not only do you learn stranded knitting with this, but you can learn how to make a sock. We start up here at the cuff You work down to where you're going to make the heel. This is called a forethought heel. You plan out where that heel is going to go. You put some stitches in there. Then you continue on with the foot. You finish the toe, and the toe and the heel are actually done identical. They are the exact same. So if I were to fold this like in half like this, so here's the sole. If I fold it like so, the heel and the toe are the same. Once you pick out the stitches that you put in there and you make your heel. So this is called a forethought heel sock.
Which is so nice because like once you learn that shaping, you got it for the other part.
Yep. So you could, once you learn how to do this for the stranded knitting, you could turn this into just a plain Jane knit. Like you've learned a whole new technique now.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. So then we go into the mosaic, and we've already talked about the Nebula cowl, which is just beautiful. I don't know if you can you see the holes in there?
Yeah. I mean, I can see your
so
hands.
Pretty. Yeah. It's so pretty. And it's just a fun stitch pattern. A lot of people have made this already in the group. And then
all of the patterns, we should say all of the patterns only use 3 colors.
Yes.
But use as many as you like.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be limited to what we designed with. You can and so like if you like the nebula, you could make it much longer and much wider. Yeah. Don't make it a cowl, make it a scarf.
Right. And I use 3 colors for this, but you could just use 2 colors if you wanted. It's totally up to you. Totally switch to these. Yeah. So you start at the cuff, you work up. It has a gusset thumb. We have slip stitches on the palm. We have slipped or mosaic stitches on the hand. You work the pinky first, then you work the 3 other fingers here. I explain why you do that. And then you have the thumb here. I mean, this, when I say it fits like a glove, like it fits like a glove. It's perfect. The whole time I was making this, I kept putting it on. Like I'd finish 1 finger at a time and I kept putting it on. And then I show you how to make sure that you don't get any holes between your fingers, so everything's nice and tidy. I mean, guys, this is beautiful work here. And let's look at the float porn here as well, because it's gorgeous. These are slip stitch float porn. Look how pretty that is. It's just stunning. I just love it. I love it. All right. So last but not least, we have the Tickle slipper socks. And if you did the Turkey Trot, very similar in technique, different stitch pattern.
So instead of like choosing just one of the fun and funkies, I just did something else. Yeah. This is like a modified Catherine's wheel if you've done that before. And what I've done in the pattern is like these are using the little bump that you get on the back of your stitches is where we're inserting our hook. That's how we get those like a beautiful V on the top of all our stitches. But I show you in the course and in all the videos of multiple different ways of where you could stick your hook instead to get a slightly different look of the stitch pattern, but you still have the same thing. And those come in 2 sizes. And again,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Those come in 2 sizes. And again, those use 3 colors of yarn, but you clearly can make those with just a whole bunch of scraps.
Yeah.
Easily.
I love that you did the same thing I did when it came to fun and funky. Like we taught a bunch of things, but then we did something completely different for our projects.
Well, there's more, right? There's so much more in fun and funky that we could have added. We could have just kept going, but it's already ridiculously long.
So I chose to do helix knitting for this hat. It's called the Tell No One hat. And it's helix knitting, still 3 colors, but I took the lighter color and I split it into 2 balls so that it looked like I had 4 colors happening. I had 4 balls of yarn going, but it was only 3 colors. And you'll notice that in that section, it's slip stitch cables. So I have slip stitch, which is sort of a form of mosaic. I have the cables in there and I have the helix knitting. I love this hat. I think with the pom-pom, it looks like it just makes the hat. Like I would put it on, but I don't want to mess up my hair. Like I am so in love with this. And the whole time I was knitting this up, I just couldn't get enough. I was like, this is so great. And so you get a chart for this section right? And you get a chart for the crown, which we included later because we found that it needed a chart, it needed some extra instructions
Just
there.
a little extra guide
Yeah,
along the way.
you know, because that's what we're here to make sure you have the help you need. We want you to be successful. We want all of you to jump into this, whether you've done color work before or not, and we want you to be excited. We want you to try out the different things. So the biggest things I want to make sure you know is you could do this on your own time. You can work these up with worsted weight yarn just to try them out to see if it's something you like. You could use this as a stitch dictionary tool for yourself because all of the video content is there. It's unlimited access. It's available in your Marly Birdhouse. So if you've purchased with the Marly Birdhouse before and you use the same email address that you purchased with on your Marly Birdhouse, it will be in there immediately. If not, we can always help you out with that. Our customer support team is here to help you with that. You have all of the patterns there.
And the dedicated Facebook group.
I was going to say, you have a dedicated Facebook group, which nobody else can get into unless they're part of Camp Colorwork. There's a special keyword or password you need to use when you want to come and enter the Facebook group. So it's different than Marly's Minions. This is exclusive to Camp Colorwork, where you still have access to us. So rather than spending, this would be thousands of dollars on all of this information at various events around the country, on top of the cost of traveling around the country, you're getting everything in one place, very concise, very cultivated. Is that the word? Curated content, curated content, taught by experts who are here to help you beyond just that time that you're in the course, because we'll be in the Facebook group as well to help you. Other individuals are in there to help you, to cheer you along. It's just, we have put everything we can think of within reason into this course, and we know you're going to love it. We know you're going to love it.
Yeah,
it's great. So while I take a breath real quick, I'm going to click through some of these questions here. I love this. Jose says the floats could be their own pattern. Yeah. That's the goal, right? You want your float porn to look so good that it could be inside out and you're still great.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, let's see here. Okay. I was wondering how to knit the heel and the toe. So for the forethought heel, you prepare a section of the sock where you're going to go back and pick out stitches. You put all those live stitches back on the needle and create the heel, very similar to how you created the toe. I even give you some tips if you happen to need a little bit extra room. Maybe your instep is longer or taller and you need some extra room. I give some tips on that as well. So it could be a sock course in and of itself.
Just doing that is awesome.
Yeah. I love that Dawn, gloves are so cool. Girl, I love making gloves. Like, I did an entire course with Craftsy called Mittens and Gloves Galore, and I just had the best time making all of those because I really like making those. My go-to projects for me for knitting, they're socks and hats, and I love making mittens and gloves. So it was the perfect trifecta for me. I'm going to come up here. Let's see here. It says, I went to the link all set and also got the Mosaic Blanket. Well, Beth Goldman, let's talk about that Mosaic Blanket because it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. So we've had this for quite a while.
Yes.
And we weren't quite sure how to release it. So this is how we're doing it.
Yes.
In 2020, we made, for Marly's event, for her tournament of stitches, we did Mosaic. We fell in love with Mosaic.
Love Mosaic.
We had to do something else with Mosaic.
Yes.
So we made this stunning blanket, which is giant.
The colors are more vibrant with what they're showing up on her video. Like, they are so...
If you see them in the picture,
yeah,
they're all stunning. So basically what it is gigantic blanket. It's 5 different stitch patterns, and the stripes can be any number. We used 5 colors in our blanket, but it could be however many you want it to be. And then, of course, everything is diagrammed out. Everything is charted out. Everything is written out. And there's video tutorials for everything along the way. Plus, if you're taking the course, also watch, before you start this, also watch the video tutorial that I did as well, because then you're going to have all the knowledge you could ever need to do this. But this pattern, it's a beast.
I'm going to show them.
Yeah.
I'm going to open it. So I have to open it in my Adobe, but you can see here, this is the blanket. Like this is a king size bed that it's laying on, and it could go across the entire top without going over the side. So I don't know what size that makes it. We have exact measurements written in the pattern, but it's large.
It's large.
But this pattern is 30 pages. Can you guys see that up there? 30. It's 30 pages. So I don't want to go through the whole pattern, because there's going to be people who are like, I'm going to pause the video. You don't have to get that. But you can
good luck.
Yeah. We go through, there's schematics, there's instructions, there's charts, there's written patterns. Like there's everything you could imagine for this. Like it is a beast. It's
really big. It's really big. So it's offered to you when you go to the website. What happens is right underneath it says, hey, you might be interested in this as well.
Yeah.
And you'll see there's a little toggle bar. There's a big arrow pointing to it. And you just go click over, and then you have a chance to purchase this. Because when we sell this pattern
full price,
it's going to be more than what it's for sale on the website right now.
Yeah, we're listing it on Ravelry for just under $20. So just to give you an idea, because it's an animal. It's an animal.
It's a book. It's really big.
It's huge. So you have a chance to purchase that when you purchase Camp Colorwork at a discount price. Then one thing I do want to point out is if you've gone through that far, you'll notice that there's one other option for you to get. It's a one-time offer, only available at that discounted price if you're getting everything else, for classic and colorful crochet socks. So if you're into what we're doing here, if you're into the Marly Bird house and how we're presenting this information and the way we teach and the way we present our patterns and the instructions, you're going to love the classic and colorful crochet socks workshop. It's amazing. So you'll have a chance to get that at a $10 discount as well if you want to. No pressure. You don't have to. We're like, hey, if you like this, you're probably going to like this. So check it out. It's a little bit of everything. So look at this. I love you, Carlene. So Carlene, yay, I got the mosaic pattern too. That's so great. Let's see here. You both are mind blowers every time. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I love this. Wow! It's so great. It's so great. I'm going through here and just looking. I got to scroll up. There are so many comments. I'm not sure who this is, but oh my gosh, those are freaking beautiful. I'm sure she was talking about my stuff. She or he was talking about my stuff, of course. Let's read this one. I would rather do it in crochet graph than do a crochet mosaic. That's interesting. That was one of the things we didn't talk about really too much, was like a grafghan style. But it really does lend towards the single crochet following the chart, but like a full-on huge grafghan, you absolutely could do that as well. Which is interesting because I'm the reverse. I would love crochet mosaic. Yeah. I love crochet mosaic. Let's see here. Yay, Tunisian. Of course, we got to have Tunisian. I love this. Brat's mom, socks for Valentine's Day or not. Exactly. That's why I like the idea of the hearts. That's why they're called the heartstrings. But technically you could take the foot pattern and put that on the leg and just make the entire sock just the foot pattern. I didn't take the leg pattern and put it on the foot because I thought the floats were just long enough that your toe would get stuck in them or whatnot. So I like how tight and condensed the stitch pattern is for the foot. That's why I put that one there. So I thought it was really cool. Everybody is saying hello and that they're very excited. I saw somebody's comment here saying that they were in the course and liked it, but I can't find it. Let's read this one. Christina is in the course. I'm pretty sure, isn't she? Because she's made several of things. I think we have Christina as one of our testimonials. Hi, Marly and Robyn. If anyone is on the fence, I say go for it. It's a treasure trove of info, and you won't be sorry at all. If you love color, it is like a digital encyclopedia. Girl, that is like exactly what we were trying to say without saying it. Like, how do we say that? And you just did it. Another quotable quote from you. So that's exactly what it's like. It's like a digital encyclopedia for all things color work. And like I said, it's for knitters or crochet. If you're just a crocheter, you're like, oh, but there's all that knitting content. You don't have to look at it. You know exactly where it is. And it doesn't make the value of the course any less, because the amount of information you're getting if you're just a crocheter is vast. And vice versa. If you're just a knitter, you don't have to do any of the crochet stuff. The amount of information you get as a knitter is vast. I mean, if you don't believe me and you don't believe everything that we just showed you, take a look at the list of things you're learning in the video description box. Like, we listed everything out there, and I don't even think we included like all the patterns that are in there, all the extra detailed stuff that's in there. Like, there is a lot of information in there for you to check out. I'm going to keep scrolling down here. Is there anything I'm missing that you can think of? Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, you guys are making me feel so good. Look at this, Brat's mom. I have your crafty classes too. That makes me happy because they're wonderful. Is that pattern included? I'm not sure which pattern, but all the ones we showed you are included. The Mosaic Blanket is an add-on purchase. Like, it's a bump is what they call it. It's an add-on purchase. When you go to the checkout, you'll see that there's a toggle bar that you need to move. And you'll go ahead.
It's directly below the big ad, or directly above where you click to buy now.
And you'll see it'll say that it's added to your cart when it's added, so you'll be able to see. But wait, there's more. Yes. So we're doing this launch a little bit differently than we've done other items. Usually we'll do a launch and we give a bunch of bonuses and a bunch of extra things. Where honestly, we've put everything we could into this, and we are like, you know what? Putting this down at this value is one of the best things we could do. We feel like this is really a great content, great amount of stuff that you get at a great price. So that's how we're doing. We're not muddy in the water, not doing anything crazy here. And like I said, just what you saw there in the Marly Birdhouse, that's what you will get. So as we're talking about this, when you get your purchase, first thing you'll get is an email receipt from Thrivecart, and then you will receive an email from Marly Bird. If for some reason you have ever unsubscribed from the Marly Bird newsletter, you will not get that second email. So you have to whitelist or make it okay for me to send you an email. So if that second email does not show up, it's possible you've unsubscribed at some point. And at that, it's illegal for me to send you an email. So you're going to have to contact us, which put this down wherever you want. contact@marlybird.com. contact@marlybird.com. And that's my customer support team, and they will help you out for any of the stuff you guys might need. contact@marlybird.com.
And that's just a good thing to write down, because if you have any technical questions of how to use the site or what's going on, that's the best place to go. Like, even better than the Facebook group. It's just, it'll be quick.
Yeah. We'll have, usually in the Facebook group, we'll say, hey, send a message to our email.
Send it to
contact@marlybird.com. So in that second email, that's why it's so important you get that email, because all of your login instructions are on that email. But I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what you're going to do. Whatever email address you use to purchase the course, let's say it was user@gmail.com. That email address that you used will be your username and your password the first time you log into the Marly Birdhouse. At that time, you can change your password to whatever you want it to be, but your first initial login, that's your username and password. If you're already a member of the Marly Birdhouse and you used the same email address that you used for your member vault to purchase the course, as soon as you purchase, it will show up in your Marly Birdhouse and you will log in just like you normally do. It's really great how that all works. You're also going to get the special keyword or password to join the Facebook group. If you try and join the Facebook group without that password, we are not going to accept you. It makes it super easy for us to be like, oh, do they have the password? Great, we can log them on. Instead of going through and just checking names and stuff.
Yeah. It makes it really quick for us to just click.
So honor system, do not tell your friends that keyword so that they're coming in, because that's just, we won't do that. Knitters and crocheters won't do that. I know.
We want to keep it, because otherwise it's not fair for the people who aren't in the course, because then they don't get all the good stuff and they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So we want to do that. So you'll get all of that information. And then I'm pretty sure there's also a link in there to talk about adding the Marly Bird House to your Marly Bird bookmark folder. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the video on the Marly Bird YouTube channel about the Google hack, but it's also written in, I put it in every single course we have, just to make sure people have the Marly Bird House is their bookmark, especially if you're using Chrome. That's what I use because it's super convenient. But after that, have some fun. Grab some different colors of yarn, grab a hook, some needles, and just play around. Or sit back and relax until it's time and you're ready for it. It will be there available for you whenever you are ready. Easy.
The only thing that's not available is the deal. So this deal that we have that you'll see on the sales page is only available until August 26th at midnight. After that, then it goes full price, which is still a deal. It's still going to be a deal.
Absolutely.
When it goes full price. But we like to save people money as much as we can.
We want to say thank you, too, for sticking around with us. So, Kara, thank you very much. Marly, I'm just letting you know, you're the best crochet and knit teacher on YouTube and Facebook, behind Robyn Chichula. No, but thank you. I really do. You know what? That means a lot to me. And I love that you use the word teacher, because really that's what I feel like I am. I'm a designer for sure. I'm absolutely a designer. But when it comes to teaching tutorials and such, I do approach them as a teacher, not just a quick, let me just show you something real quick and move you along and keep the video going and moving and shaking and blah, blah, blah. No, I want you to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you can use it in future projects. Because I feel like that's what's going to make you a better knitter, a better crocheter. You're going to come back for more. And then we can keep doing more and more advanced projects, which is important to me. Let's see here. Mary Sue, after purchase, how long will I have access to all of it? You have unlimited access. So once you purchase it, it is yours. It is always in the Marly Bird House. You can go there and watch it whenever you are ready. Let's see here. I already have Camp Colorwork. How can I purchase the Mosaic Blanket? Very good. So what we are going to do, Facebook user, whoever that is, Robyn and I are going to put a special link or like a special lesson or module or something inside the course. So that way, if you are somebody who already owns Camp Colorwork, you have a chance to purchase the blanket as well at the discounted price for this limited time. And what most likely what we'll do is we'll make it so we'll set up a whole new cart just for you to purchase that blanket so that you can get the blanket because it's its own product in the Marly Bird House.
Marly Bird House, yeah.
You'll see when you guys purchase, it's its own product in the Marly Bird House. Everything is there for you.
You just need to give us a little bit of time to set that up.
Because we didn't think that far ahead. Like it was a last minute. We were like, oh yeah, what about that? Like we should have. Some things just get lost in the mix when we're going through all of this.
But we will.
Yes, we will. Michelle, I love all of your classes. They are great. Is there a way to get the mosaic pattern extra if you already have? Well, we just answered that question for you as well. So hold tight. We will get you that information for sure. Tish, no, you're the best, Tish. You're the best. Let's see here. Like when the kids are back in school. Yes, my kids went back to school a week and a half ago. And
we don't all need to brag, Marly.
Well, and I bring Caden to college tomorrow. So I'm dropping off my middle son to college tomorrow, but he's the first kid to actually leave the nest. See what I did there? Leave the nest. Yeah, didn't think I was going to cry. Brings a little tear to my eyes.
Don't think about it.
I'm good. Jody says they're getting very excited about this, which is great. Michelle, I really want that mosaic. Great. That makes me happy because it's a huge blanket and as far as the pattern, like it's a huge pattern and It's so pretty. Like I love the colors that were chosen. And the fact that it was made with Caron 1 pound makes it a very affordable, large blanket that you could absolutely dive into. It's a lot of fun. All right, I'm looking up here to see if there's any other questions I might have missed. Awesome value. Thank you so much. You're more than welcome. I'm scrolling up some more just to see Tunisian, they're happy. Stranded Knitting, they're happy. Intarsia, they're happy. Oh my gosh, everybody's so happy. I love it. I love it. All right, so I'm going to come over here. Just a reminder, this offer ends August 26th at midnight Eastern time. So when you go to the sales page, you'll see that there is a timer at the top, so you see just how much time you have. After that, it will go to full price. So it'll still be available. It's just going to go to full price after that. And if you have any questions, go to contact@marlybird.com. And a reminder that this is only available at the Marly Birdhouse, which you could always check out, marlybirdhouse.com. Type in marlybirdhouse.com. It will take you to my member vault and you can check it all out. All right. That's everything I have, Robyn. Do you have anything else?
Nothing.
I can't think of anything. I'm excited to see all of the color that you guys put together and make. I mean, the sky is the limit on what you're going to learn and piece together. And it's so much fun. And I can't wait for all of you to fall in love with color just as much as we have fallen in love with color as we make more and more projects coming forward. It's just a lot of fun. And this isn't it. Like, we have more stuff coming out at the Marly Birdhouse. We are constantly working to build that up so that it is a one-stop shop for you for everything you could think of for knitting and crochet, and especially you buy crafty people out there. Don't think I forgot about you. I have not forgotten about you. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Right. That's it. Okay, guys, go have fun. Go check out the Marly Birdhouse, and we will see all of you happy campers at Camp Colorwork. Bye, guys.